Hi, my name is Amanda Ulrich, and I hope that this take goes much better. This is my reflection journal for session 3 of my Ideas and Issues class with CCU. It is June 22nd. The question is in chapter 11 of Wright's book, Rethinking Resurrection Today, answer the 5 questions of who, where, what, why, and how. So the who, why, what, where, and how is found at the end of chapter 10. We're going to apply this to chapter 11. So it goes, who will be raised from the dead? And Wright has how there are certain Christian denominations that basically believe that some people are already in heaven and angels and they're holy and everything like that, and they pray to them. And he says there is no reason in the New Testament to suppose that there are any category distinctions between different Christians in heaven as they await the resurrection. So, who will be raised from the dead? All people, like all sinners and all Christians, but there's no special Christians or anything like that. All people will be raised. Then where will the resurrection take place? The where is like when in chapter 11 it has when we die will be a real person and will be dead, but this it's not the final, like when we first die before we're raised, there's a final destination for which the Christian dead are bound, which is the bodily resurrection. But it is the state in which the dead are held firmly within the conscious love of God and the conscious presence of Jesus Christ while they await that day. There is no reason why the state should not be called heaven. But heaven's like a loose term. So where will the resurrection take place? In chapter 10 it has on the new earth. And this is the same, like when we die, we will like know God, know Jesus, won't be in a conscious state like with them, but our bodies won't be risen yet. What precisely will the resurrection body be? And this has, the end of that one was the bodily resurrection. It will be a body. We will have a body. And chapter 10 here refers to C.S. Lewis's The Great Divorce and how he paints a good picture of just bodies and like cities and people, and we're doing things not exactly as we do now, but we're still using kind of the same stuff. So the next one is why will we be given new bodies? And the why is so in the new setting with the new earth and the resurrection after that's happened and everything, Christ coming, that setting right must necessarily involve the elimination of all that distorts God's good and lovely creation, and in particular of all that defaces his image-bearing human creatures. So in this section, Wright talks about how we dehumanize ourselves when we like worship other things aside from God. And I know Christians do it too, when you get too focused on something else aside from God, you start to idolize it and put it in a wrong place. And when we do that, we dehumanize ourselves, and we need to, in the new earth, we need to eliminate all that distorts God's good and lovely creation. So that's the why. And the when will the resurrection happen? Paul says that if Christ is the first fruits, those who belong to him will be raised at his coming, which hasn't happened yet. So the when, that was in chapter 10, will be when Christ comes. And then the next is how will it happen? And a quote by, a metaphor by John Polkinghorne says God will download our software onto his hardware until the time when he gives us new hardware to run the software again, which is a fun little way to look at it in our modern society. But also, in chapter 11, it gives a kind of different view. It says, but the most important thing to say at the end of this discussion and of this section of the book is that heaven and hell are not, so to speak, what the whole game is about. It says the question ought to be, how will God's new creation come, and then how will we humans contribute to that renewal of creation and to the fresh projects that the Creator God will launch in his new world? The choice before humans would then be framed differently. Are you going to worship the Creator God and discover thereby what it means to become fully and gloriously human, reflecting His powerful, healing, transformative love into the world? Or are you going to worship the world as it is, boosting your corruptible humanness by gaining power or pleasure from forces within the world, but merely contributing thereby to your own dehumanization and the further corruption of the world itself? Maybe what we are faced with in our own day is a similar challenge, to focus not on the question of which human beings God is going to take to heaven and how He is going to do it, but on the question of how God is going to redeem and renew His creation through human beings, and how He is going to rescue those humans themselves as part of the process, but not as point of it all. So a theme that runs throughout Wright's book is that of the theme that runs throughout this is that heaven, like, is a loose term, that it's not kind of the end of it all. There's more to it, and what we do here now, like, it doesn't end. It's forever. All the kingdom work that we do here, like, continues. So how will we be redeemed? And just focusing more on worshiping God and how we can just do that better, be more, how we can look more Christ-like, and not just like through false prophet appearances or anything, but genuinely like worshiping God and changing and not dehumanizing ourselves by worshiping money or sex or a million other things, but worshiping God and that to be our focus. So I don't know if I answered the question right, but I sure hope I did. Thanks. Bye.